Welcome back to the news today. This is One on One. Joining me tonight is a very special guest, Gilad, former bureau chief of Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, former chief peace negotiator and senior research fellow at the INSS. He's also a well-known campaigner for the two-state solution and just recently interviewed Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. Sher took part in the Camp David talks in the year 2000 and continues to support this goal even in a time when the two-state solution seems impossible to reach. Today he chairs the Blue-White Future movement. Only recently this movement published a poll which claimed that 29% of the Israeli settlers in the West Bank are willing to relocate in return for compensation. Good evening. Thank you very much for coming.
Good
everything
evening.
that I
Thank
said
you
until
for
now
inviting
was
me.
everything that I said until now was correct.
Up to now, you're
Up
okay.
to now. So do you think maybe that we are too pessimistic to start thinking about the two-state solution as maybe not real?
Well, I think that the two-state solution is the only solution that is possible for us, Zionists, Israelis, and for the Palestinians as well. The binational one state is not a possibility for me. This is not what we had as an objective when we established this country. We want a democratic national homeland for the Jewish people, which is Israel.
Why
and
do you think that it will bring the end to the Jewish country?
Well, it might. I would hate to say so, but yes, I think that this is, at least a two-state reality. Even if the solution is not there as of yet, we need to create such a reality, because otherwise, the Jewish democratic Israel would be gone forever.
So, we just heard Abu Mazen's son giving an interview for the New York Times, and he said that maybe the two-state solution is dead. And if people don't want to give me a country, at least give me legal rights as a civilian. So maybe this is what the Palestinians want, only legal rights as civilians in a state, and that's it.
I'm more concerned with what Israelis want. What Israelis want is to live in security, in peace, in legitimized and secure boundaries that encompass a Jewish majority and a democratic regime. That's what we want. In order to do that, we absolutely need to disengage from the Palestinians with at least with the assistance of an agreement that would be signed eventually, and if there's no agreement, then even unilaterally, independently. We need to do that. We need to design our borders around the values that I just detailed.
Do you think that both sides, the Palestinians and the Israelis, are capable really to sit down and once and for all get to an understanding?
Yes, definitely so.
With the current regime, with with Benjamin Netanyahu and with Abu Mazen?
Well, it will not be a permanent status, comprehensive agreement that ends the conflict and puts a finality to all claims. Not in the foreseeable future of the next couple of weeks, months, or even a couple of years. But we could gradually, throughout transitional arrangements, throughout coordinated, even unilateral actions that are constructive to the separation onto two states for two people, throughout interim understandings and agreements, kind of build an infrastructure, layer over layer, that would bring eventually the end to the conflict.
One of the biggest claims here in the Israeli society that on the other side there is no partner for peace. You sat down and spoke with Mahmoud Abbas. What did you hear from him? Do you think that he is a legitimate partner?
I believe he is. I definitely believe he is. And moreover, I believe that we have a partner, which is the Palestinian society. And the vast majority of Palestinians, as well as the vast majority of Israelis, want peace. They want to live in peace. They would like to coexist
Even according to
with
your
one another.
poll, it seems that even the
Exactly.
settlers, who's supposed to be extremists and supposed to not
Well,
actually give up the land, are willing to just leave their
Right.
homes in
And
order
this
to
is-
get to a peace agreement.
And you know, one point that I would like to make about this poll, it's not a single poll. It's actually a series of surveys that were conducted in 2008, 2012, 2013, and the numbers and the findings are very consistent. You know, we've actually looked at those settlers that live eastwards of the fence, of the security fence, and we found out that out of those 95,000 people living there in the settlements that are not adjacent to the Green Line, not part of the blocks of settlements, the main blocks of settlements, 30%, which is 30,000, are ready to be relocated now, subject to getting a proper compensation and a relocation into Israel proper. And in the case of an agreement, the number grows to 50%. And most of them would like to be relocated into Israel proper and not into the blocks of settlements.
What about the other 70%? Because we are talking about, well, 30% is a nice number, but and it sounds too simple, but we saw what happened in the Gaza Strip. If you will ask the settlers that sat down in Gaza and left Gaza today, who still don't have a permanent home, they will tell you that they're still waiting for the government to do something. So it's not that simple. Like
You're so right. It's everything but simple. But what we need to do is to get our act together. The Israeli government needs to get its act together, start a national scale planning for the relocation of settlers. Talk to them. Have this internal discourse, and of course draw the lessons from the 2005 disengagement, including not withdrawing with the military simultaneously with the civilians, for instance. That could be one of the lessons that would provide security for at least the transition years after relocation of settlers. Now, it's not simple, but it's a process that will serve both a negotiated agreement, hopefully that would be eventually signed, and of course an independent unilateral step taken by Israel when it judges that that's the time to take such step.
Don't you think that the Israelis are making more compensations than the Palestinians, or is it legitimate because Israel is occupying the Palestinian territories?
Do you mean concessions?
Yes.
Right? Of course, we are the big giver, but we don't give just because we are sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. We are withdrawing from the vast majority of the territories of the West Bank because it's in the benefit of Israel. I don't think that, you know, when I give lectures or talks, I always ask, who in this room would like to come back to Gaza? There's not a single hand that is raised. Never, ever. That's the idea. We have to disengage. We have to disassociate one from the other, and we have to do it in a manner that would be more appropriate than what we did in 2005.
Before we're ending, some will say that maybe this is the last window of opportunities that the Palestinians and the Israelis have. Do you think that this is the last chance, or there were a lot of last chances?
No, I believe that time is not working on any of the parties' favor. And I believe that what we need to do is to continue negotiating in a binding, continuous, serious, clear manner with the brokerage of the United States, of course, hands-on, staying the whole course, and at the same time plan for designing our own boundaries independently.
Gilad Sher, thank you very much for this talk with us. Thank you for coming to our studio. And thank you, our viewers, for being with us tonight. Tomorrow we will be here at the same time, same place from the Jaffa Port. Have a great night.